truth?
Oh, I'm all ears.
Okay. The truth.
I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Why do you find it so hard to believe?
Why do you find it so easy?
It's never been easy.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
All I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more.
Hello and welcome to Truthful Talk. I'm Marco. We're back again. I'm here with Natalie.
Hello.
And we are here during this Thanksgiving week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a couple days before Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is.
And at least American Thanksgiving for those of you who might be listening outside. And so I thought it might be a good time in today's episode to either talk about what we're thankful for or talk about, why gratitude is important. Because, we have Thanksgiving, which is like a day of the year to give thanks.
Yes.
And so we do it on this one day, and then we have the rest of the year to be unthankful about everything. And, regardless of, your view on Thanksgiving, the holiday, or, what else it might be about, to me, it's a day of gratitude is so important.
Mm-hmm.
To just have, I wish we would do it more than just a day.
But you can do it more than just a day, Marco.
Okay. Well, I would love for you to tell us how that actually happens because it's on a day-to-day basis, it's difficult.
It can be. But what's so interesting about this day, I think it obviously has everybody in that zone, like you said, of what am I thankful for? And then we use our brain to think of all these things logically, whatever it is. But the point is that I'm making is that habit of continuously searching for that for yourself, particularly, is a beautiful habit, especially if you do it first thing in the morning before you even get out of bed.
Okay.
Because gratitude is so important. I think in order to set a tone for your day or for a few hours, and then when you find yourself slipping out of it or whatever, it's a practice is what I'm saying. So that's why I actually love Thanksgiving so much. Not really the food, because after eating, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand how people can go shopping. I have no idea because I'm out. I can't do anymore. Like I need to lay down. I need to sleep for days.
You mean like shopping afterwards?
Yeah,
like
I don't understand it. God bless them. I have no idea how they have the energy to walk in the middle of the night to go to a mall and go shopping and fight off hordes of people. Not interested.
Which is, to me, it's always an interesting thing that right after a day of gratitude, which is supposed to be thankful for what we have, we then have this whole exploration into Black Friday, which is about what we don't have.
Touche. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting how that they link that together? Good commercialism is said, okay, yeah, coming off of what you're thankful for, now we're going to go off of lack. What don't you have? And what do you need?
Yeah.
And what do you have to buy to make yourself
You don't have
better?
enough, to be thankful for. You have to come here and get it. We have it. I wonder, I'm going to look that up, like who put together this Black Friday kind of situation, because there is somebody with someone else who said, it's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do this and smash it together with Thanksgiving. I wonder why, I think it's
initially it was two things. Initially, when it first started, it was because the majority of people had off on that Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So there was, there's a normal day off. And it was the first day that was acceptable back then when it started to start shopping for Christmas.
Right.
And, and the winter holidays, because it was not, Thanksgiving was over.
Yeah.
They started immediately after, which is midnight, right? They started immediately after of like, okay, now's the next day. Now's Christmas season.
Different holiday.
Sell. And that was initially
profit.
Now, of course, I've been seeing Black Friday stuff all this week already.
All year, I think.
We're not even there yet.
We're not even there.
Yet. Which is all about lack.
Yes.
And, you know, what don't we have?
That's a whole other conversation.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a whole other conversation about how what you're watching, the advertisements, whatever you're seeing on, I don't know, cable, anything, is making you feel as if that you don't have enough. And you're aspiring to this. And all you're doing is spending so much money, going in so much debt, having self-body issues for yourself because there's no way you can be looking like the person that you see on camera, who, by the way, has had a lot of plastic surgery, that's spent a lot of money. It's all fake. It's all smoke and mirrors. So that's a whole other conversation to have. But yeah, it's very interesting. So before that, Black Friday. Maybe tomorrow we can get together and talk about Black Friday.
Yeah.
We're on Black Friday.
Maybe we'll do it on Black Friday. That's what we'll do. We'll do a special Black Friday episode. Yeah. You want one of those? Or want one of...
I'm so grateful for that board. That's awesome. Yeah, but I think the Thanksgiving, honestly, that practicing gratitude is very important. And in particular, forwarding that information for acting in particular, because I think it's great for any human to have in general. But we always feel a lot of fear as actors. I think it's a battle between not being enough and learning how to let the artistry take over. So it takes a while for that component to balance itself out.
Yeah.
But when we're in these auditions or the casting director is there, you know, maybe a week or two has gone by, we haven't heard anything. So like reaching out to say, listen, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to let you know something about being grateful, reaching out might give you or allows them to see like, oh, this was someone who really enjoyed the process. And I'm grateful that they sent this to me. I've heard recently that some casting directors are okay with that. They're not as cold. You talk about this a lot in casting. You say, we're hoping you as the actor, when you come in, we're rooting for you.
Yes.
So being like grateful for that casting, for that person that's there, you know, it kind of settles you down into a spot of, dare I say, grace, you know, just like I'm meeting someone else and I'm grateful for this opportunity. But not just saying it without the meaning behind it.
No, but really feeling that gratitude.
Yeah, and it kind of calms you down a bit.
And it goes a long way. It's, you know, if we look at current mental health and where it's at, and when it started doing a major decline, it parallels with the emergence of social media. And as the social media was on a rise, mental health went down. Because the majority of social media is about lack. It's about fear. It's about focusing on those things. And gratitude is about being in the moment and being, because think about gratitude is a feeling of thankfulness. So it's not about being thankful. It's about experiencing the feeling of being thankful, right? So that's what gratitude is. And in order to experience that, we have to be in this present moment, meaning it's not a thought. Gratitude is not a thought about thankfulness. It's a feeling about thankfulness, which is in this moment. And it's about being appreciative of what is actually around you, of what you have right now. So it's this feeling of saying thank you for that, which is in this moment. Well, when we're in our head thinking about things, it tends to go toward lack, worry, fear, like those type of things.
Yes.
Social media accelerates that. Social media fuels and feeds that side of ourself. And so, you know, we think about what, you know, and, you know, people will say, no, but I use social media for this and use social. And it's great that we can use it as a tool, but that's not what it's doing. Most of social media is fueling the fear of politics. It's fueling the fear of lack in economy. It's fueling the fear of, oh my God, look at all these dangers that are around you. It's people talking negative about other people. I mean, it's that's what we're seeing over and over.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, I got to be consumed of what's happening with Diddy right now, because if it's happening with Diddy,
take that.
Which,
sorry, I had to do it again.
Right? It's like, oh my God, it happened with Cosby, it happened with Diddy, so every single person in Hollywood must be evil. And it's like, no, it's not. That's not the case.
Right.
But when we're consumed by it, our mind goes there, which again is lack and it's fear and it's all of these things. And it's moving us away from gratitude. And it's pulling us away from actually experiencing the life around us.
Yes.
And so we need to get back to that. And it's not like we have to disengage from technology. Technology is a part of life, but in balance. And I think on Thanksgiving is a good day to say, okay, for one day, let's just be off technology and be with each other. So that way, and then of course, as an artist, we work on it much more.
Yes.
Because as an artist, we have to work on it on a daily routine to be disconnected from technology and in this present moment.
And it does change the atmosphere of the room. It changes everything that people are working on together, collaborating. It's more focused. It's more current. It's more in the moment. And it's like you're picking up on someone else's, energy, and nothing is hindering that. And that's what technology does.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. Even if I'm going to go on to some platform, Facebook, I'm old enough to be on Facebook. So even if
I'm not, just
I'm
kidding.
like, yeah, I know, exactly. But even if I go on some platform and do a Thanksgiving post, right? I'm going to give gratitude to all the people in my life and everything else. It's really nice. I can connect with people who are not immediately in front of me. I want to say thanks to my family and friends and students and everything else. What's the next thing that happens? The next thing that happens is I keep checking the post of how many likes it has, how many comments it has, who's interacting with it, who saw it, who didn't like it.
Yes.
Who maybe saw it but didn't like it. Like who's right. And now I'm in my head and it's thought and it's lack. And that's where social media pulls away from just the immediate experience. If you really want to tell someone thank you, call them up and say thank you. If you want to use technology, send a text and say thank you. I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Even though I think in person is much better.
Yes.
But really say thank you. Or if you want to use social media, disable your comments, disable everything, send the post, and then forget about it. Like
you're going to teach me how to do that, okay? Before I leave today.
Yeah, I will teach you how to. But I mean, put it out there without worrying about what you're getting back. Because if you're worried about what's in it for you, you're not grateful.
Right.
At least in that moment, you're not grateful. Gratitude is about being in this moment, outward focus, having a feeling of thanks for what you have and what's around you, with no exceptions. It's unconditional.
May I say, I was just in a rehearsal with someone recently, and we're working really hard on something. And this person tells me, yeah, we're doing this so, we can eventually make it big or, get to our goals. Like eventually we'll be actors. And it dawned on me. I'm like, what do you mean? We're doing it right now. Like we're doing it right now.
Yeah, you already are actors.
We already are actors. We already are in rehearsal. We already are doing all of the work that it takes. All of that other stuff can be, wonderful manifestations or whatever that is. But again, us as actors, and maybe as just society, we're so naturally inclined to think, what's next? What's tomorrow? What's 5 years from now? Because right now is not good enough for me. When the present moment, when they call it a gift, and it's said present for a reason, it's like, that's where everything is. And it's very interesting because in these rehearsals with this person in particular, I can see how this person is so much more logically driven and needs so much more in that frontal lobe, in that mind space, instead of allowing that to be a little more quiet and the other side to be more open to possibilities, to the beauty of the moment. So I think the way to get in there is just oh yeah, I am grateful for this moment. I'm grateful to be working off of this, Right. It's like you're doing it right now.
You're doing it right now.
How do you not see that?
There's no place to get to. There's nowhere else you need to be. There isn't, because eventually the work I believe will pay off, whatever that is. And it's great to have the goals and set it up, but to obsess over things way in the future will just keep you busy with the mental energy it takes to obsess in a fearful way. Yeah. We were talking about that. You're just talking about the Facebook posts when you're looking at all the likes and who didn't like it and how could they not. Do you know how much brain power that takes
and how much time in the day that takes away from you. And you might think that that's normal, but doing that 8 times a day, 10, if you're posting on different platforms constantly, how much space to me that it steals time. It's crazy.
Right. It does.
I don't.
It's a lot of mental energy, and happiness in life is really about outward focus. It's about being in this moment. Gratitude and patience are linked. Meaning you cannot be grateful for something if you're impatient, and you cannot be patient for something if you're ungrateful. They're both in the same realm.
Mm-hmm.
So someone says, yeah, I'm grateful for this, but I can't wait for it. No. You can't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Wishing or wanting to be somewhere else is not you're not really feeling grateful for what you have.
Yes.
Being grateful for what you have is being fully invested in this moment and having a feeling of being at ease in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're impatient about I am grateful for this, but I just can't wait till I'm actually an actor. It's like, no, then you're not grateful for what you're doing.
Or that will never come.
That's
another conversation with like how you speak to yourself and manifesting and all that stuff, because you're still coming from this isn't enough in a place of fear, I guess.
Well, interestingly enough, logical goals are never really achieved.
Say more, Marco.
Well, many times when we plan out to a goal, when I say they're never achieved, of course we could say, I'm a business owner and I want to sell X number of units. I can sell X number of units, but what does that mean? Like from a feeling standpoint, what did that create? And many times people attach themselves, well, once I do this, then I'll be happy.
Right.
Meaning they attach their happiness or their worth or their even self-image to a specific goal.
Mm-hmm.
But that goal doesn't actually make them happy, because if they're unhappy with where they're at, there's a root cause that's doing it. And something external is not going to make that. And it's like when I tell actors, it's like, well, no, I'll be happy once I work on a Warner Brothers production.
Yeah. It's
like, well, believe it or not, that's not going to make you happy, because whatever's making you unhappy now will still make you unhappy then.
Mm-hmm.
It's this elusive, so we call it, a transparent dangling carrot, right? There's this thing in front of you that you can never actually attain, but it still dangles in front of you. And so it's the thought of that, like you were saying, there's a difference between saying, no, I'm an actor now on a path. Mm-hmm. We'll see where the path leads, but I get to do it right now. That's gratitude.
Yes.
And that leads to happiness.
Yes.
Versus saying, I'll be happy when I get this thing, or I'll get happy when I achieve or get to this place.
Yes.
It's like that never actually happened.
And how many stories we've heard from people that are now wise and said, I went to the top of 1% and I still was not happy because I had to go and do the work that it took to get me to recognize what was empty inside me. So when you listen to those people too, especially again, the ones who already did it, and they say like the money doesn't give you what you think it gives you. It does not. It is the whatever family life, what makes your life special is what you give it, the connections with people, all kinds of stuff. But the monetary gains is not it. I also adhere to the creed where you practice, you're going to play how you practice. Just watching a game just yesterday, I heard one of the coaches, he's being interviewed and he's like, well, if they didn't bring it in practice this day or this day or this day, they're not going to bring it on Sunday.
Right.
And, and I love because they're so stone cold and there's no they're not like colorful people and saying they're just like, this is just what it is. So we play as like how we practice like it's game day. So we do that consistently over and over again. And eventually game day comes and you just slide in and it's like another practice. So when you're in a rehearsal space and you're all this stuff, to me, that's game day. It's meaning is you're doing it. It's not like I wish Sunday would come. This doesn't count.
And, and something that you said, I don't personally believe we should link happiness to money.
Right.
I don't think they should be linked because money doesn't bring happiness. There's another root cause underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
However, we live in a society where we need money. it's, however we feel about it. We live in a society where we need money, and it's a capitalistic democracy, at least right now.
Mhm.
And so we have to spend money for rent, housing, clothing, food. And it's like, okay, so on the other extreme of that, I'll also see people that, well, I'm only going to do what makes me happy, and I'm not going to get a job that doesn't make, like, it's like, no, you need to balance it.
Yeah.
If you, I always say, pursue your happiness. Don't get a job that you hate just for the money. That's not going to bring you happiness. Or don't pursue something for the money. But at the same time, pursue what drives you. If it's acting, if it's some sort of art or dance or singing, pursue that with everything you have. But at the same time, do whatever you need to do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Have a separate job where you make a lot of money and where, or you get enough money to then do the things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I see the people that go all in just with the art and say, no, I refuse to do any job that's outside of this. Like, well, you're not really walking the path.
Right.
You're not doing everything that you can. You need to do both. You need to have the job that's going to sustain you, so that way you can do all the things you want to do for your art. That's the path you're walking on. And hopefully, eventually, those two will merge.
Right.
And that will get you to where you need to be.
There's a place where the logical mind, the strategy of the gamesmanship of setting up that, A to B to C to D equals, I can pay for my classes, or I can go and take this workshop, or I can do this, if that's what it is you want. But if you're not willing to do those things, it's very difficult to have empathy for somebody who maybe was sold the idea that we're supposed to all be rich and famous at 19 with all the Maybachs that we want in Hollywood, and everybody's calling our name, and we don't have it, and we're 33 or whatever it is. And then you think like, man, my whole life is like, it's this very interesting psychological dynamic it does because of the power of what's on television and what we allow something to subconsciously change our mind to say, friends, I remember somebody said like, well, none of these people have, jobs, and they're living in this beautiful, like it's not real. The reality is, try to follow or read books and be inspired by those who said, I came from nothing. I took a job that worked nights, and I had to do this and this. And what happens is you'll find that your whole life, most of it, is dedicated to that love thing that you have. The reason that you have the job is so that you can financially help the other thing that you want to grow. But I promise you, you won't have time for everything. Some things will give. Relationships will give. Family, health, especially if you're partying a lot, right? You can't do it all, is what I'm saying. You have to be, in my opinion, very selective and purposely selective about what you're spending your time with, because everybody else that's not kind of helping you follow that dream and tell you, I think the truth is like, you need the money, so you need to keep the job so you can do this, but you can't come out partying with me Thursday and Saturday, and we can't go to the beach on Sunday because your work will suffer. The homework will suffer. Your acting will suffer. So it's always a constant, like, we're always fine tuning the human being responsible for this lifestyle that we're choosing to have, one of an artist. You need both. You can't live on the fantasy that is just one thing, and that's what you're going to do.
And it's not. I mean, when I was in the corporate world, I had one job, and that one job was what I was doing in the corporate world. And I made a lot of money, but I was working at minimum 80-hour weeks. So I mean, I didn't have much time for anything else, but I was making good money, but I was not happy at all because I wasn't pursuing anything I was passionate about. It was a corporate job. And then, so when I left that and came into the arts, so this has been, so let's say for the past 25 years, I've never had just a single job. I've always had more than one. And because I'm balancing out and I'm making money. And so really the shift is I could have one job working for one company and doing that just for the money, but I'm not doing anything that makes me satisfied or happy, my passionate. Or I can do the things that make me passionate, but I got to find money in many different places. And even now I have 4 different job titles. I'm at, I'm program director at Truthful Acting Studios. I'm artistic director of Theater on the Edge. I'm program director at Truthful Acting Online, which is a separate company from Truthful Acting Studios and a whole separate business venture. And then I'm also an adjunct professor at the local university. So it's right. I mean, I have 4 of these right now, and those have shifted. Like prior to that, I was, a producer at Doctrine Creative. I did that for almost 10 years. And so you have these different things. And each one is helping me do the other.
Yeah.
But we can't get bogged down, because if we get to the point where like I'm only going to do my art and I'm not going to go work at Walmart, or I'm not going to go work at wherever, just
not going to get a job.
I'm not going to get a job doing something I don't want to do. Then therefore you won't have money to do the things you do want to do.
Right.
And then the stress of life is going to get you to the point where you'll end up getting a full-time job somewhere just because
you can't sustain that.
You can't sustain that. And then when you start really feeling the stress of life, it's hard to do what you want to do.
Right.
When things like food, clothing, shelter, like the basic necessities,
priority,
your survival instinct will kick in, and you will end up getting a full-time job somewhere just to ease that fear of that,
right?
Of, your survival instinct.
I call it the business of acting, but it's really like the business of life, if you will, and maybe that's a whole nother podcast, but to be responsible and be okay, with maybe where you are. But if you are totally unhappy with your job, there's certain things that you should obviously switch, and whatever that is. But we have to kind of break that mold when people think, how long do you think it's going to take for me to make it? I'm like, wow. Okay. What do you mean by that? Because, looking at the watch and stuff, I'm like, I can't answer that question. Obviously, no one can, but there's so much mental focus there's so much focus I think you need as an actor. I really believe it. I was listening to a podcast and they were interviewing the late, great Kobe Bryant. That's a whole other conversation. But he says he's being interviewed, and someone asks him, like, so you're always on the court, right? You're always at the gym before everybody, always at the gym after everybody, whatever, right? He's physically doing it.
Right.
To me, that's purposeful. When you're always like talking to people, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, can we leave? But anyways, he's physically doing work on himself. And then he says, you're so busy. What happens to your relationships in life, and he goes, they suffer. They suffer. I don't have time to go and see everyone or people in my family. It's like I had to buckle down and focus, right? Because eventually you do want to spend time with them, but what is that sacrifice that you're willing to make?
Right.
And what is it that you're willing to pay the price of? And that also separates a lot of people from a lot of people. And that's okay too, if you're not okay with that, or if you are. But it's the choices that you are making. What is in the front, in the spot, that laser focus, the target that you want to hit, and you keep going. Because it's very easy to be swayed off of it by family, by guilt, by whatever it is. But it's crazy how much and how easy it is, basically, for just someone to give you the culture, like, wow, we were best friends and I haven't seen you in 3 years. Like, if you don't, but it suffers. Family suffers. I don't know how to explain it, but he was one of the greats for a reason. His athletic ability, that's what I'm talking about alone.
Yes.
Changed. It was complete because he was, in a healthy way, what I think, obsessed with his work.
Well, I think you have to be, right?
I think you have to be.
To be great at something, you have to be obsessed with it.
I think you have to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. But you can't have it all. You can't turn around and like do all this stuff behind it.
There's just not enough time.
There's not enough time.
And so you have to choose where you're putting your time. And, for me, because in balancing, I have these 4 job titles, and then balancing that along with family, right? Maintaining the relationship with my wife, and then maintaining the relationship with our 5 children, maintaining the relationship with my mom, who's ailing and up there in age. And, so there's time that has to be put. So it's like, okay, then where do I take the time from? Well, I'm not a gamer. I don't go out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch movies or TV. And not that I don't ever watch movies or TV, but it's usually right before I go to bed, or it's like a wind down thing. It's not like I'm going to sit down, which is why my students are so amazed. Like, you haven't seen this? Oh my God, you haven't seen this? It's like, you should watch it. I'm like, no. And it's not that I don't want to, but I could either be watching. I always say there's a choice you have to make as an artist. I could either watch and consume art, or I could make it.
Which is so dope.
And so that's where I take my time away. As a kid, I used to be a pretty heavy gamer when I was younger. I loved it. I loved the gaming thing. This is back before any of this modern stuff, but back in the Atari days. But still,
what is that stick?
Yeah.
What was it called? I forget. Anyways,
yeah, the joystick.
The joystick.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was some good playing Pitfall. Oh my God. But it was, but yeah, I enjoy gaming, but if I game now, it's usually with my kids. Like, hey, let's play Mario Kart or something. So it's spending time with them, doing something they want to do. We'll play a board game around a table. As a family, my kids love doing that. We'll play Clue or something.
Cute.
And even if we watch a movie, it will be with the kids.
Yes.
That's why, my students are like, yeah, but you haven't seen this yet. You really, you should watch this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you have other things that are more important to you to do.
And I have a list that spans back 25 years of things that I've yet to see, because I just, it's the time.
Yes.
Where do you put the time? And so for people out there who are like, well, how do you do so much? Or how can I get to the point where I can have more time for my art? Because I always hear there's not enough time. It's like, well, chart your day, every single minute of your day where you're spending it, and find out how much time are you spending on your phone? Your phone tracks that now. But then how much time are you spending on TV? How much time are you spending gaming? How much time are you spending just doing nothing or inefficient with your day? And all of a sudden you can find an extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes multiple hours that then you can put into something else.
And when you see it on some kind of spreadsheet or you write it down, because that's a whole other thing. What you're doing is taking responsibility for you as a human being and what you're doing in real life, in reality. And then you might get a snapshot when you're able to see the patterns and consistency, like, well, damn, I'm really wasting a lot of time binge watching every other day for 3 hours, whatever this is. So it's like a bird's eye view of you, what you're putting your attention to. And then sometimes you get so frustrated with, oh my God, I can't believe I've been doing this. You're like, I don't even need it. And you can chop it off and you just got yourself 3 hours per day of doing certain things. So it's almost like it's an inventory that you're really taking. And I think if you're really serious about any goal in life, whether it's losing weight, eating healthy, dropping pounds, all this stuff, I believe deeply that you have to take inventory, especially from all the people I've studied. They're like, there was no other way that I was just going to remember like what I ate 4 days ago and I'm still losing weight. It's like, because you did have sugar or bread, whatever it is. But had they not put themselves accountable, like, are you ready to see yourself? Are you ready to really see what you're doing? A lot of people will avoid that like the plague, run the other way, and they won't take that time. And years bypass and they don't understand why. So this is actually a really great superpower to have, the tool to have, and utilize that as just as important as looking at your phone daily. Utilize that to see what you're doing daily, inputting stuff.
Because in order, getting back to what we were talking about, in order to be grateful, we have to arrange our life so we can be grateful. If we're constantly filling this space with things that we don't need to do, and therefore we're setting ourselves up to feel like we're not doing the things we want to do enough, that's the feeling of lack. That's the opposite of gratitude.
There it is.
We're being ungrateful at this point. Like, oh, we don't have enough. Oh, I want to do more, but I can't. Oh, this is ailing me, or that's ailing me, or this is getting in the way. Every time we set up an excuse, that's the lack of gratitude. And so the way out of this box is to focus on the things around you that you do have right now and really focus on that gratitude. And it's not like focusing on it once is going to fix everything. It doesn't. It actually feels like a cheap trick in a sense. it's this feeling that you have to get into the habit of it, which takes time, of doing it day in and day out, because we are creatures of habit. Everything we do is habitual. So what we need to do, if you're going to make a change, is you need to change your habits. To change a habit, you need to replace one with something else. And it typically needs to be with something similar. It's like when someone's trying to quit smoking, they still need to replace the habit of the oral fixation or holding something in their hand. So you switch to a lollipop, you switch to a toothpick, you switch to something where you can still go through the motions, the habitual motions, without intaking the nicotine. So it's the same thing in our lives. If we're used to watching a movie, it's like, okay, well then take that hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever that time would have been and focus on writing a script.
I love that.
Or, you know, so it's still something in the same direction. Or maybe instead of watching a movie, read a play. Yeah, these are great things for actors to do. If you're a non-actor and is something else, let's say you're an artist and you want to draw. Well, instead of watching a TV show, take part of that time. I'm not saying never consume media. I'm saying, but start replacing 30 minutes of doing one thing with 30 minutes of doing something else. So it's like, instead of watching 30 minutes of one episode of a show, I'm going to do some drawing right now, or writing, or exercising, or whatever it is that you want to start aligning yourself. And when it takes a little bit of time, but you trade out habitually how you spend your time, like minute by minute. It's like, okay, instead of putting these minutes here, I'm going to put these minutes here. But you have to, you can't just stop doing something that's a bad habit. You must replace it. So even like eating, we were talking before we even got on here, eating healthy. Let's say I love binging chocolate, right? Which,
Let's say.
Let's assume I love binging chocolate. Well, it's easy to say I'm just going to stop eating chocolate, but it'd be much easier if I replaced it with something else. So if I can start the process by replacing it with something that might be sweet, but a little better for me, like berries or something like that. It's like, okay, I'm going in this step, and even a banana covered in chocolate syrup. It's like, I'm in the direction.
You're in the direction.
And then I can do maybe a banana without the chocolate syrup. And then I could do, eventually I can just replace it with water. But it's still taking that fixation that I need and replacing it with something else until I get to where I want. And so that's easier than just saying, well, I'm going to quit doing this, like people do on New Year's, which we'll get to. Right? We make all these New Year's, and we can't actually follow through with them because we don't do the habit properly. We don't condition our habits properly. And
I was just thinking there's so much to talk about. That's so funny that you say like the New Year. It's coming up soon. We'll have, I can't wait for that podcast. But one thing that I find that is in tandem with gratitude, because it is. So back to this like practice thing in the morning. Before you get out of bed, think of yourself 3 things that you're grateful for. And don't get out of the bed until you kind of feel that kind of wash over you. And it's so lovely because it sets up a nice morning for you, a nice path instead of the opposite, which I don't even have to explain because we all know what that is. So I found that that's super helpful. Think of and I believe the power of the voice is so important. Tell yourself what is that you're thankful for. Like when someone says like, let's say it's smoking, like when they do a prayer or something or whatever, it's like, please don't bring another cigarette next to me, or don't bring another drink in front of me. It's like actually say, thank you for allowing me to have the strength to feel comfortable and calm. So what you're doing is your future self, like you're grateful for, I don't know how to explain it, but a lot of the meditation stuff. But what you're doing is you're setting up that energy, that feeling of what it feels like if you weren't addicted to this. And it's like you're setting that up, and your body will look for that naturally. But it's a practice of, oh, this is what it feels like not to be in control of something else. Because the words help you. So that little 3 things in the morning that you're grateful for, and then say thank you for what you want, but act as if you already have it. say
Yes.
that. I think that's super
Which is,
healthy for
which
the
is
brain.
great. Yeah. Thank you for the willpower to not drink today. Thank you for the willpower to not smoke
Yes.
today, whatever it might be, or not
Yes.
eat unhealthy today.
Yes.
Yeah. Bring that in as if you've already received it later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a nice emotional pattern that your body is like, oh, we don't do this often. Normally we're up in the morning when having a cigarette with a coffee, But thank you and it allows you to what is that feeling when I feel calm and relaxed when I believe that.
And so many people wake up ungrateful.
Oh, ungrateful.
And it's not that we just wake up not happy with our lives, but we wake up not happy to get up. It's like, oh my God, it's so early in the morning. Oh my God, this stupid alarm. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh, I just want to sleep more. Oh, I want, right? All of those things instead of learning how to wake up and just, oh my God, I'm happy to be alive. Yeah, I'm happy for another day to do this thing. And that's it's difficult because I know the physiological feeling is I want to keep sleeping, especially if you're not getting good sleep, which also comes into eating habits, which comes into all sorts of things. Right? I mean, one thing affects the other. It all affects everything. But regardless of how tired you are or not, we're all tired. Everyone in the world is tired. We're all tired. But regardless of that, waking up, as you're saying, with a tradition or with a habit of going through, this is what I'm grateful for today. And then thank you for whatever it is, whatever you're about to do.
And it can be anything, but
Yeah, it can be
something
anything.
that you're truly grateful for sure.
Yeah. So as an actor, thank you for giving me the courage to perform today. Yeah. Well, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Thank you for allowing me to explore this character.
Explore my art. Yeah.
Explore
Thank you.
my art.
Thank you for allowing me to explore this thing because you're doing it now. We're not doing it later.
Nope.
We're not doing it when we become an actor.
We didn't
quote
do
unquote.
it yesterday. We're not. Yeah.
Well, because everyone's waiting for, I'm not really an actor yet. It's like, of course you are. If you're doing it, you're an actor. If you're drawing, you're an artist. If you're writing, you're a writer. It's like, if you're in the process of doing it, you may not be a famous one.
Right.
Yeah, you may not be in the top 5%, but anywhere in that percentage, you're still doing it.
Yes.
And hopefully walking the path to get better and better and better.
Yes.
We should be grateful for the entire journey.
Yes.
Not just the destinations.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Love that so much. And then also this Thanksgiving, while it is an interesting thing that it's a day of thanks, it's also a day of arguments. Family tends to get together
I see.
and then they argue about things that they shouldn't be arguing about. You're probably going to be talking about things you shouldn't be talking about. I would just encourage everyone, try to make it as less divisive as possible. Don't bring politics into this Thanksgiving because that's an easy one. And if you have people on different ends of the spectrum, let it go. Don't even speak of it. Please, please, please don't wear political campaign stuff
Please.
to Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Let it ding dong.
I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're not
Turn
coming in the
around.
house
Yeah,
wearing
turn
that.
around.
Yeah.
No, don't be that guy.
Talk about the things that you're grateful for. Talk about why it's great to be back together. Just talk about those things, but try not to make it divisive. That goes against the whole point of the day.
Sure does.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
wow.
That
was fun.
It was fun.
That was fun. So that's where we are going to leave you all today. But we hope that you have a great Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And so what advice, Nat, can they do to start this gratitude thing? What should they start with? Being grateful in the morning. Like, what do you think they should do?
Once again, when you are, even if your eyes are closed and you're waking up slowly, you can, what am I grateful for? And something will pop up, whatever pops up, and you just say yes to that. I'm grateful for my husband waking up beside me. And all of a sudden I feel, this wonderful wash. Then whatever it is, I'm grateful for my mother and my father being next door. They live next door. Look, I can, I'm crying tears. Like it's the feeling of, it's so precious to me. I'm grateful for my little doggy who's 16 and he's given me so much, like these things. Yeah. Blind as a bat, can't hear a damn thing, but so much love. And anyways, we can go on and on, but Start with 3, and those things will come to you. And then when that comes up, okay, now I'm going to see, thank you for giving me the stamina and the strength to feed my body or be around fellow artists and allow me to be someone that can help other people. Thank you for that. And that's before that's before my foot hits the bed.
Before you even hits the floor. You get out of bed, that's what you're doing every morning. Mm-hmm. All right, which means don't wake up in the very last moment when you have to jump out of bed. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So that way you can wake up. You have those 10 minutes to just sit there, let it come to you, whatever it is that comes to you.
Whatever comes to you.
Feel that gratitude, feel that appreciation, and then be thankful for whatever you're about to do that day.
Absolutely.
That's great. And then hopefully that if you do it every day, that turns into a habit.
And then we'll start coming to you in the afternoon, in the evening. And it's a cycle of being reminded those things. So your time even becomes more focused and what you do, your intentions are more focused. So it's a practice.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And, listen, for all of you out there who listen, we'd love, if you try this, we'd love to hear back from you and like, how did it go? And you can always go to truthfultalk.com. You can contact us there, send us a message.
Yeah, please do.
Just let us know. It's like, okay, yeah, I tried this. It worked. Or I tried it and I'm
didn't.
struggling with it. Yeah, whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And for everyone out there, please, please, please have a hopefully wonderful, joyous, and thankful Thanksgiving week. And we will be back again next week. And until then, please treat yourself and others with kindness and reward yourself for the risks that you take. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
If you'd like to learn more about our studio and what we do, you can find us online at truthfulacting.com. And check out truthfulactingonline.com for our Learn at Home at Your Own Pace courses.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
I know what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.